Hello, my Wellish friends and family. It's Friday, and that means we made it to another episode of Confessions of a Wellish Girly. And it's not just any Friday, it's the last Friday of April. So I'm here to tell you all of my hates and my favorites from this month. For Friday episodes, we leave the advice that lives in the Monday episodes behind, and we spend all of this energy on highlighting the chaos that goes into why we want to self improve in the first place. And we do that because it's important to normalize it, reframe it, and make it a little less heavy to carry. So I've got 5 different categories that I love to talk to you guys about at the end of the month. So we're going to start with the hates because it's always good to start negative and then move into the positive, in my opinion. So we're kicking us off with gym and health hates. The thing that I hated the most this month in regards to my gym and health is really the true way that if I don't do even a little bit of movement, my mental health just goes down the toilet. And this is a really weird thing for me because it's something that I always heard. And then I did 75 hard a few years ago, and it made sense to me that if I took care of my body, therefore took care of my brain, that it would operate better. So it makes sense logically to me. But now I'm like hyper aware of it. And this looks like any movement, like if I go to the gym, I have the highest motivation. Like if I'm on my schedule and I'm weight training and I'm doing the things that make me feel good, I'm at my highest frequency. But that stops if life gets in the way. So I went and visited 2 different friends in 2 different states this month, and that gets in the way of my workout schedule. So instead of just doing something, I did nothing and then allowed that nothing to compile over time. And it made my mental health get worse. And what am I doing when I'm with my friends too? I'm drinking. So not only am I not taking care of my health, I'm also actually destroying it and then sitting there wondering why I'm spiraling and worried about everything and why things are heavier on me, why my house is getting messy, why I can't be as productive as I would like to be. It all compiles, it all is intertwined. And when I'm taking care of the basics, I can do the extras. And by doing the basics, I mean literally just doing something to take care of myself, like going for a walk or doing yoga or making sure that I'm drinking a few sips of water. It doesn't have to be like the couple liter goal that I have for myself for a day. It doesn't have to be a whole gallon of water, but like making sure I'm intentionally drinking a little bit of water, like doing that a little bit, or making sure that I'm eating 3 meals in a day and I'm not just eating Cheez-Its and that's the only thing I eat today. There's a big difference. And it doesn't have to be so extreme that like the things that I eat are perfectly curated, protein dense, whole food meals. I can go to McDonald's. Obviously that's not ideal, but if it's the choice between not eating anything at all and just getting something from McDonald's quick, I just would rather get something from McDonald's quick, and that's better for my mental well-being. Like it suits me better to operate like that. But that kind of leads me into my favorite from this month when it came to gym and health, that I did do a really good job with making the gym a regular priority in my life, but I did have things that got in the way, which is funny because that was my hate from March, was that I hated how hard it was to say no to plans for the sake of going to the gym. And that's, what happened this month. I went and visited these 2 friends, and when that happened, it interrupted my gym schedule. And what am I supposed to do? Not live my life? I'm going to go do those things. Realistically, what I should have done is tried to incorporate it in other areas, or I should have moved in a different way, like going for a walk. But I didn't do those things. And when I did not do those things, I wasn't as hard on myself. And I understood that everything in this category is in flow, that I am not rigidly seeking a fitness goal. I'm trying to survive my brain. And so being aware of that helps me be more mindful because I understand that what I do breeds more of the same. That when I am taking care of my physical wellness, even if that's just going for a walk, I'm more likely to come home and clean my house because I have those chemicals moving through me. Compared to if I do nothing, I'm more likely to continue to lay there and rot and do nothing. And that's the importance of starting small. And like that's what I really enjoyed this month is that instead of doing what I would normally do and beating myself up and making myself feel guilty for not doing the gym perfectly and exactly as I would want to, being kind to myself and having self-compassion and being like, okay, you obviously aren't fully with it right now because you've slacked. So let's be nice to ourselves today. And then in the morning, let's go for a walk. And like that's what I do. And then I feel better and I come home and I do a little bit. I didn't do all of the cleaning, maybe, but I cleaned a room. I swept the floors. I did something. And being able to have that compassion for myself, I'm really excited about because that was something I was never able to do before. Moving into beauty, the saga continues, okay? I'm still on the hunt for a fucking bond and seal for these long-lasting lash extension clusters, okay? Let me officially report that I hate this stuff. I thought maybe I liked it. I liked it better than the Duo. The Duo was the worst I've tried. This one, they stay on my eyes for a longer period than the Duo, but I fucking hate the white eyelashes. And this is something I might have like mentioned briefly, but this is like my official statement. I don't like it because it makes like you can see the glue and then it makes it look like I have like the sleepies in my eyes and it just looks gross. And like if I'm showering or anything like that, it like I don't know, it like comes out even more. It doesn't look good and I hate it. So I did just order a black Bond and Seal, waterproof, all of the things. I haven't gotten it yet, so stay tuned. The saga continues. Hopefully by May, I'll be able to tell you guys that I officially have one that I like, but who the fuck knows at this point because this has been a several month ordeal. Even though I hate the glue, I will say I do love the lash clusters. So those are going into my favorites. They're Genia, I think. Please, I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I'm not sure. I'll link it. But I mean, you can see they're almost all gone. These are just the tiny ones left. So I have ordered more. This is the third time that I'm ordering these lash extensions and I really like them. They're very natural looking for me, which is what I normally gravitate towards. These are the Venus style ones. And they are still like I could pile on the longer ones and make them look more like going out lashes, or I can use the shorter ones and they just like look like normal lashes in my everyday life that you wouldn't even really notice. So I do really enjoy them. I do think they look very nice. I just kept finding goddamn glue to get them to stay on my face. My other beauty favorite, which might be unexpected that I would put this in the beauty category, okay, but I was thinking about it when I was trying to think of like what my beauty favorites for this month are. And you know what? Beauty isn't just beauty products, okay? Things I want to incorporate in this are things that make my life feel beautiful. And one of those things that really helped me romanticize my space in my life are candles, okay? These are two of my favorite candles that I've got this month that really like are so incredible and they both are very long lasting and you can actually smell them when you burn them. So I'm a cheap ass, okay? So normally I just go and I get whatever Walgreens ass candle I can get my hands on and spend less money on it. But I did spend $20 on a Yankee candle. These last me literally forever. And like I said, while it's burning, I can smell it. This smells like lilac. It reminded me of a bush that was in my backyard in my childhood home. And so I had to buy it because I like sniffed it and was like, holy shit, I was transported. So love this one. And then this one was actually gifted to me and it's what from Sweetwater Decor, and the person that gave it to me is like obsessed with their candles. Like she will only buy their candles and I understand why. Like they last, they smell good, they're not overwhelming. I just had to sniff it. And like, it just is like such a natural scent. I like it. And I like that like I mean I've used it a few times and like it's barely gone down at all. So like they're just really long lasting. I like them a lot and they make my house smell really like clean and good, which in this old fucking building, that's necessary. And my last beauty favorite, I'm putting the micellar water on my list, okay? I was never a micellar water girly. I know that this is like old news, okay, that people are really into this. I have acne prone skin, so I got the one with, I can't ever say this word, salicylic acid. 911. Someone call the police. I don't know how to say that word. But I like this one because it's all-in-one purifying, cleanses and removes makeup, mattifies, minimizes pores. So this is not something that I just use for makeup remover. While that is mostly what I use it for, I also use it if I am being a lazy piece of shit and I don't want to wash my face at night. I will get the dirt off my face with this stuff. So it's kind of like a twofer, if you will, like it's like those wipes that you can, cleansing wipes that you can use, and it removes makeup. So it's great, especially like when I was out in other states visiting my friends, maybe I was drinking, I wasn't as likely to like be like, hey, can I scooch into your bathroom and do my entire skincare routine? I whipped this bad boy out and was able to clean my face that way. So it's kind of like a surefire way to make sure that I take care of my skin, even just a little bit. And that makes me feel good because it makes me feel like I did something to take care of my skin. And that's really all I need. Next, we are talking about lifestyle and mindset. I did deal with more drama this month than I literally have probably in years. So I really hated that. That wasn't fun. And I'm not going to get into the details of that because that's just unnecessary. But I just, realized that I get emotional faster than I get clarity, that I am very quick to respond from a place of high emotion instead of letting myself calm down and come back to clarity, like getting the space that I need and then making choices. Like when I am high emotion, I like take like action to try to like almost relieve that high intense emotion, and that kind of can just not feel good. But on the flip side of that, it normally would make me do things that I would regret, which didn't happen this time. Like I felt very proud of how I handled it and how I showed up, and like I know that I did the right thing, and I know I did what was best for me, and I know I showed up with integrity, and I most of all didn't self-abandon. And that was really, really, really uncomfortable because I learned this month that because I didn't self-abandon and because I didn't go the route of what would please others, a pattern I have never followed before, it was really uncomfortable, and it was really scary to feel like I could be the bad guy, or I could be perceived as having done something wrong in other people's story. But being able to sit in the discomfort of not being able to control other people's perception of me, and knowing that I know my truth and I know how I showed up and I know I behaved in alignment with the person that I want to be, and that being good enough for me. But it was just really interesting to recognize that I was uncomfortable and upset and stressed and spiraling and emotional because I was doing something different than I had ever done. And like that's not going to be just like, wow, I didn't self-abandon and that felt so good. No, it felt fucking bad. It felt fucking uncomfortable. I didn't like it. It made me feel not good. But as I separated myself from the situation in an effort to gain clarity, and I was able to gain clarity enough to realize that, that's what happened. And it's uncomfortable because it's new, but that's the kind of person that I want to be. So I feel proud of how I handled it. Through that too, I really was focusing a lot on reassurance in therapy this month. And I am really, really proud to say that this is the biggest turning point that I have ever made in not needing reassurance from other people, because I kept asking my therapist over and over and over for reassurance, and she refused to give it to me. And it was the first time, this month was the first time that I ever felt like I am making my own choices and I can stand in those choices. That like these are my beliefs and these are my thoughts and this is how I want to navigate the world, and I will stand in those choices. And even if other people don't agree with those choices or they don't like those choices, that's not my responsibility to make sure that I'm behaving in a way that makes other people happy, and instead staying true to myself and what I want to do, and that is enough for me. And that also doesn't mean that I'm going to do everything perfectly. Like there's maybe things that I wish I had done a little bit better, but I'm a human that's allowed to make mistakes, and I'm not going to get everything perfectly. And that doesn't make me a bad person. Like that doesn't make me any less because I didn't show up exactly textbook perfect. And while I still need reassurance in certain areas of my life, like in my dating life where I've had fuck tons of gaping wounds, I am moving closer towards not needing reassurance. And that's something that like I remember needing for as long as I can remember. I mean, I remember when I had even gone wedding dress shopping with my mom, I wanted her to make the decision for me. And I couldn't make decisions by myself. Like I needed other people to tell me that I was doing the right thing or doing things okay, and like always needing to do the right thing, like when my engagement ended and needing to know obsessively that I was handling it right or that I did everything right, because if I did everything right, that meant that I didn't deserve what happened to me. But I can make that decision. And this is the first time that I've ever felt capable of making those choices and feeling good about those choices, even if I didn't handle things exactly perfectly. So speaking of reassurance and where I still fuck that up, let's move into the dating category, because the thing I fucking hated this month is the way that I truly have abandonment issues. And this is so fucking annoying to me. Like to even say that out loud makes me want to fucking die, because I don't want them, okay? I don't want to identify with them. I don't want to say that I have that, because it feels like admitting defeat or admitting something's wrong with me or identifying with something, and it's like, oh, okay, something new to fucking worry about now that I'm supposed to fix or self-improve. And like that's not the vibe, okay? Like I'm not trying to like identify something so that I can say that like here's a new issue to tack onto my goddamn belt. But it's annoying because it's like such a, it almost feels like a cliche is what I was about to say. Like I always heard about abandonment issues, but like was like, that's not my problem. Yeah, hi, strap in, it is now, which is fucking weird, because it's just not something that I've ever had to deal with before. And when my brain starts to go nuts, it's like I don't identify as having that issue, or I've never had to deal with having this issue. So I'm like, why am I freaking out? And then I'm like, oh my God. And then like, abandonment issues. Like, I'm just like fucking terrified that I'm just going to be left out of the blue all of a sudden, because that's what happened to me. So fun. So that's fucking annoying, because what I do is I seek reassurance about that thing and then have anxiety about seeking the reassurance and, just feeling like I'm a burden and feeling like I am not allowed to like have these problems, and that I wish that I was just, happy and free and fun and just like never had any issues ever. And that would make me likable, lovable. But that's just, not how it is. And then I go down the rabbit hole of it being like, it's not my fault that this is how it is. But you know what? It's not my fault that the things happened that caused me to get to this point, but it is my responsibility to take ownership of those things and do my best to take care of myself so that I don't continue to let the wound deepen, instead work to heal it over time, knowing that that's not going to happen right away, and being compassionate with myself during the healing process. And while I'm doing that, one of my favorite fucking things that I did this month when it comes to dating is utilize effective communication, okay? My avoidant brain does not know how to effectively communicate, okay? Because if I tell you what I want from you, then it means nothing. I want you to just do what I want you to do and behave exactly in alignment with what my brain would perceive as you caring about me, even if that's not the healthy way to go about it. Because you should be a mind reader and you should know exactly what I need and give it to me when I want it. She's nuts, guys. So I have been using effective communication because this was something that I learned in the book Attached. I've talked to you guys about this in the past. At the end of the book, it talks about secure attachment and has an entire section about effective communication. If you do not read anything in this book, while this book was the biggest life changer in the entire world for me, and I recommend absolutely every fucking person on this goddamn planet should read it, at least read the effective communication section because, whew, man, that really does make a huge difference. So I was talking to my boyfriend about what were we talking about? I was talking to him about reassurance and how he didn't reassure me in the way of like, oh, babe, you're so wonderful. Babe, I think you're so great. Babe, you have nothing to worry about. But like, he makes me feel more grounded in myself. Like, he makes me feel like he makes me do the work, but he provides me the support to do that work and make me feel safe enough and uplifted enough in order to reassure myself. And he makes me feel like a better version of me, to be honest. And so I was saying that to him, and he was just like, oh, that's what I'm here for. And I was like, this is me being toxic. Okay, strap in. I was like, well, maybe that's what you're used to, but it's just new for me. So I just wanted to tell you because I wanted him to tell me, no, it's not what I'm used to. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. You're so unique. You're so one of a kind. I've never experienced anything like the greatness that you are, Sarah Elizabeth Rittendale. And nuts. Okay. So, but he didn't do that. He was just like, that's what I'm here for. And I said what I said. And he was just like, yeah, blah, blah, like whatever fuck he responded back. I don't even know, but I didn't respond how I wanted him to. So I started to feel the pangs of irritation and upsetness and like, why won't he tell me that? Like, is it that this is what he's used to? Is this normal for him? Maybe it is normal for him because I'm the one that has been in these unhealthy situations and he seems to have been in more of healthy situations because he is a healthier individual. So maybe this is normal and I'm the fucking weirdo. So kind of getting into like that little bit of a spiral. And so instead of allowing myself to be consumed by that, I said, I swear to God, guys, it was crazy. Okay. But I did say, I need a little bit of clarity. I can't even believe I said that. I need a little bit of clarity. Have you experienced this in other relationships? And he was like, no, not at all. Yeah, no, this is totally, I can't remember exactly what he said, but just like he gave me the answer that I wanted. And I felt immediately better after that and felt we could understand each other more. And guys, these men out here, they're just not as smart as us girls, okay? They just don't have it like we do. So like it wasn't like he was not saying it for like a purpose. He just didn't even think to say it. And that became so obvious when he gave me his answer. And I think that's how most things are. But we don't know that because we don't effectively communicate. And then we're just out here getting mad and that they don't realize it because they just like don't operate on the same playing field as us. I said the not as smart. That's not true. But like I think that they don't operate on the same playing field as us. Like we literally are like, and I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying that we're fucking different and we need to be able to communicate in order for us to better understand each other and to deepen connections with people. Like you're leaving connection on the table by not just being honest. And it's fucking scary to be honest. I could have vomited. Like it's terrifying because it's so vulnerable. But to be brave enough to express what you need, express what you want, express how you feel, and knowing that that could cause somebody else to act a certain way, but that gives you the information that you need in order to make smarter choices and develop the right connections for you. Moving on to career. I did not have a lot of things that I hated this month about career, which is crazy because I think that I spent so much time feeling so flustered and freaked out about what to do with my life. And that is the only thing that I could say about a hate this month is that looming feeling is always there. Like, just not sure if I'm doing the right thing. And like, I don't want to waste time, essentially. I'm coming up on 28 here. My birthday is next Saturday. And so I just feel like as while that's not old, I also feel like, I've got to make decisions, but do I though? You know what I mean? Like I just also think like we make moves when we're ready to make moves and that it's a lifetime of experiences and that I can choose to do a different job at any point in my life and like that's not the most important thing to me. I think that is a really important factor for other people, but for me, I just am more concerned with living a good life and I want to do whatever I have to do in order to live that good life. So while that looming feeling of doing it wrong is still there and I fucking hate that, I wish that would knock it off. I am more and more moving away from feeling that looming vibe over me, which really speaks to my favorite thing is that I feel like I am no longer, I can't say 100% because that looming feeling is still there, but like more than ever, I am not tying my worth to my career anymore, to the sense of achievement that I understand that that's just an experience that I have in my life. It's a way for me to spend my time and to make money to better support me, but it doesn't mean anything about who I am and how good I am. That I can be good enough without this like shiny, super cool, super impressive career. And because of that, it makes me feel like I can do something that I genuinely really would like to do. And when I sit back and I think about what I genuinely would like to do, is I would love to be an author. I love books, you know what I mean? And like I'm saying that on here, which makes me a little nervous because, I don't want to like put it all out there and, whatever. But that's just this is a monthly update essentially. And like that's kind of where I'm at this month and what I was thinking about this month. And I was listening to YouTube videos about it. And I ended up actually signing up for a creative writing class. And even if, I change my mind or it doesn't get like I don't go that direction with it, I was excited that I did something to learn something new and maybe progress me forward in an area of my life that would make me feel happy compared to feeling like I need to do something impressive. However, I think it's pretty impressive to write a book, but that's besides the point. That's it for today's episode. I do have one more advice episode for you for this April that we're talking about lifestyle and routines. Monday, we're going to be talking about what your daily life actually says about you. So tune in for that so that you can get a better idea of what your daily life is genuinely expressing and see if that's in alignment with what you actually want it to express. Thank you for joining me for another Confessional Friday. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend that is safe, happy, and aligned. I love you so much, and I will talk to you on Monday. Bye.